This is the Big Picture, Michael Jablonski, and you're listening to the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
For those who don't know, now you know, baby. This is Hot Rod Biggs, Jared, Jimmy Street. We're going to take them to the limit one more time, baby, right here on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one more time to the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast, and I am here as always with my brother from the same father and mother, the Plastic Sheik, Jared Street. What is up, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. How about you?
Man, I cannot complain.
Well, to spice things up, I brought some charisma with me.
Oh, you mean the Territory Wrestling Guru, co-host with the Mo-host, and host of This Month in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma. What is up, Q? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How y'all guys doing?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Got a lot of stuff going on today. Of course, This Month in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma, Ep.3. I hope you guys are as fired up as we are. Guys, it's crazy. Last night, I was looking through some of our analytics, and I have found out that basically, I looked at our Apple analytics through our Apple Connect setup that we have. To be able to get your podcast on Apple, you have to go through this process of signing up for this Podcast Connect. Anyway, I set it all up, and this was when we first started, and I realized that part of our analytics have not been reflecting all of our Apple plays, and we've probably got another 50,000 plays that are unaccounted for just through Apple that I had no clue about. So, yeah, I found out some good information last night that we're actually doing even better than I thought. So, guys, we thank you all so much for that. First off, greatly appreciated. Very cool information to find out. One thing I do want to talk about before we get started with Quinton today, our 100th episode is coming up next week, and we hope you guys will join us for that. Got something cool. We're going to do a little celebrating and talking. Don't want to share the guests just yet. Just know it'll be somebody pretty cool. Let's just say that. So, very cool, maybe. I should say it that way. But anyway, one more thing here is Captain's Corner on September 20th at Canada Slam Fest. That's Montreal Wrestling Convention, Hotel Ruby Foo, 7655 Descaries Boulevard. And also, just like we had our guest last week with Dave Sullivan, he's going to be at the Portland Wrestling Expo 2 on Saturday, February 21st at the Holiday Inn Portland Airport. And that is 8439 Northeast Columbia Court, Portland, Oregon. You're going to be hearing a lot more about that. So just stay tuned for that. You know, in the content creator world, it's a bigger world and a smaller world than you can imagine. A lot of things have happened here recently in the United States that have driven us apart, whether it's misunderstandings or thoughts that just shouldn't happen in your mind. I just want to say this, y'all. I still believe in sticks and stones may break my bones, but your words will never hurt me. And I truly feel like if we apply the simple things like that and maybe the golden rule, maybe we'll be okay. We don't typically talk about stuff like that. We like to keep it wrestling on here, but just remember that sticks and stones may break your bones, but nobody's words can hurt you if you don't let them. So if you feel like somebody's saying stuff to you that maybe hurts your feelings, turn it off, walk away. You don't have to sit and listen to it and get offended by it if you feel like you're getting offended by it. Yeah, I think that's all I want to say, but the cool thing is we got a cool show today.
Hey, I tell you what, Jimmy, do like people used to do when they used to watch my matches, just turn away and leave.
Yeah. If you don't like what somebody is saying, turn around and leave. I mean, just like they were watching my band. So, don't Boris, get to the chorus. Oh, wait, they've already left. But to take things into what I think is a happier tone, I think we do have a cool thing going right now. Now through September 30th, buy a t-shirt. You'll be giving 100% of those proceeds to our buddies at the Right Way Reunion. We greatly appreciate those guys and what they do, and we want to give back to them, and we'd hope you guys can help us with that.
Yeah, Jimmy, the Right Way Reunion, I think if any of the boys are listening that don't go to that, I really encourage you to go contact Shane Morton and get with him, man, because, if you've never been, you need to go, because we're losing a lot of the boys, and last year we lost, was it like 4 within like 3 months or something like that? It just, you might think it's not your cup of tea, but man, just go one time and you'll never regret, going, because it's really a good thing. So if you haven't been before, contact Shane, talk to him about it, and come on out in October. And if you worked with us or if you didn't work with us, if you were different generation, we'd love to have you there, man, because we're losing everybody, and when somebody's gone, that's one little part of history gone. So yeah, contact Shane Morton, and we'd love to have you there.
Couldn't have said it better. Now through September 30th, if you go to our Pro Wrestling Tee store and buy 1 t-shirt, 2 t-shirts, however many t-shirts you want to buy, every bit of the proceeds from that goes to the Right Way Reunion. So other than that, guys, I don't have anything else for the open. I know you're fired up, Q. Sheik, do you have anything before we go to the main portion of the show?
I mean, I could say it in the follow-up, or I could say it now, but I did see a brief update from Powertown figures that somebody had got.
Action figure.
Ooh.
Not much to it. They're just saying that all the orders will be fulfilled. Didn't give a time frame or anything like that, but I don't know. That's not what people are looking for if you're invested at all with the Powertown figures. But
yeah,
there was it Wrestling Figure News or something like that, had a little blurb that they got an email back from Steve with Powertown. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Cautiously optimistic.
You're going to call Steve right now on the line while we're recording?
Just get him live.
He's like in the background cooking food, like, hey guys, what's up? Anyway.
We'll let Q handle this ride.
Yeah. That's actually very important, Sheik. Good segue there. That was good information. Thank you for keeping us informed on Powertown. But what I'm more important now is I want to learn about some old school wrestling. So I'm going to go ahead and give the keys to Quinton, and we'll be right back with more This Month in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling after these messages.
Hey, my name is Tammy Reynolds. I am the wife of Forsaken Rick Reynolds, that super cool guy that everybody knows and loves. And I represent West Side Sauces. I make sauces, I bottle them, I seal them, I sell them. I have a hot honey sauce, I have a sweet sauce, I have a hot sauce, I have a white sauce that's so yummy you can use it on everything. They are absolutely amazing, and I'm so proud of them. We make them from scratch. So go on our website, westsidesauces.com, check out our products, read about our story, and go online and order you some of these yummy sauces. And Rick actually uses all of the sauces because he is a die-hard smoker and griller, and so he likes really good sauces and rubs, and I make them, so how convenient is that for him? Go on our website, westsidesauces.com, order you some samples, and I think you'll thoroughly enjoy them. Thank you guys. Be blessed.
Welcome to This Month in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma.
All right, guys. So this month is September. So I started out a little slow because I think a lot of people were, people going back to school, going back to college. And just seemed like September, when it first started, was a little slow in some places. So I had to do some digging. I want to kind of do something a little different this month. Is this one thing I want to talk about. It scattered through a few weeks. In last month, it's kind of the same thing, and I got lost on it because my notes and there's 2 and 3 different pieces of paper. So this first thing I'm going to talk about, I kind of combined it together because it all goes together, but it's like a 3-week thing, and it just, I'm afraid I'm going to misspoke like I did a little bit last month. So today we're going to go to September 7th, 1959. We're going to Memphis, Tennessee. It's the Ellis Auditorium. And we're going back to the whole Spudnik McMonroe run there in Memphis. Last month we talked about him and Billy Wicks doing the massive gates at Rustwood. Then after that last Rustwood show, the angle was just gone. They didn't, and it ended in a draw, but there was nothing after that I could find. And like I said, there's no TV to figure out how the angle went. It just looked like it just went cold. So like I said, September 7th, they're back at the Ellis Auditorium, which was the big building because the Mid-South Coliseum hadn't been built yet. So the main event was Spudnik McMonroe against Al Spider Galento. And it was going to be a chicken wire match. So, and I would love to, this would have been really good on TV. So it was booked and everything, and, and then they did everything, but Monroe refuses to wrestle Galento because he did not want to he was not getting in the chicken wire. So I'd really like to see how that worked out on TV. I'm sure it was really good.
Just before or after Jerry Jarrett pulled Galento's eye out?
This is different Galento. This is Al Spider Galento. Yeah. That was Mario Galento.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The other Galento.
This guy was, from what I can see, he's a smaller guy. But no, it's totally different Galento.
Sorry, my bad.
No, that's fine. Hey, that's why we're here to learn. But that whole, if anybody hadn't read that story about all that, that was crazy time, man. Mario Galento went crazy and was just going to disrupt Memphis TV and everything. So,
Yeah.
So go check that out somewhere on the internet. But anyway, so Monroe refuses to wrestle in the chicken wire. He didn't want any part of it. So a guy named Rube White takes his place at the auditorium that night, and Galento beats him. So I guess the next week on TV they did some kind of big something. I guess they built it up, with him just refusing getting that chicken wire. So we go to the next week in September 14th, 1959. They go back to Rustwood, and it's going to be Spudnik McMonroe and Spider Galento in a 2 out of 3 falls, and it's in the chicken wire. They had Monroe had to put up a $5,000 bond at the contract signing that he would show up for the match. He defeated Galento he was 2 falls to 1. The attendance, I don't think it was what they thought it was going to be because it came nowhere near the 2 matches with Billy Wicks. The attendance was 7,128, which was a great house, but considering that last Wicks match, they had almost 20,000 because they broke down the outfield wall. So I think it was kind of a letdown, I guess. But then on the 21st, they show back up. They go to Rustwood again, and this time they brought Monroe back with Billy Wicks. Yeah, see, it's hard to really figure this out because there's no TV to see how they, because they. Somebody could have went somewhere else with the Galento, maybe. I don't know. I guess the chicken wire was the blow off.
I guess, yeah.
And my thing is, you don't have a lot of time, a week's time to build back up him and Wicks. I mean, that must have been just a hot shot TV.
Yeah,
they must have hot shot the crap out of it to want to go back to Rustwood. So Monroe beat Billy Wicks in the 2 out of 3 falls, 2 to 1. And this is not that they did it. This is what happened the last time. It was really no finish. The third round was a DQ finish. Wicks got DQ'd for hitting the ref, and the ref was Phil Golden. And Phil Golden later, he ran Paducah in the early 70s, opposition of Gillis Welch. And that's when Weingroff went up there and went to book for Phil Golden in Paducah in the early 70s. So he was the referee. And I looked the next week. They didn't. I remember there's no attendance figure. I couldn't find the attendance figure of this. And the next week, there was no Wicks in Monroe. It seemed like, I don't know, the booking just seemed weird down there. It looks like I said, the TV might explain stuff, but if, like I said, Wicks, they said he just started just going off, just pounded on Monroe, and the referee tried to stop him, and he hit the ref, and that time babyfaces did not touch the refs, and so it seemed like there would have been something leading out of that, but there wasn't nothing. So
wow.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's definitely one of those things you wish there was TV to explain it, because just on paper and reading it doesn't make sense. So
right. Or better yet, you'd have been there to be there to see it all. But I mean, hey, that's who knows? We wouldn't be here to talk about it right now, probably. So.
And with them not putting the attendance in the paper, which they always did, that makes me wonder it must not have did very well.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to go to September 1st, 1990. We're going to stick in Memphis, Tennessee. And this right here was I remember watching this, even though it was on a delay in Nashville. We got that week delay on the Memphis TV. This is one of the craziest things I ever seen in my entire life. So in 90, I was 18 years old. This Eddie Gilbert hits Jerry Lawler with a car on live TV. Have y'all ever seen that?
Oh, yes.
I've seen it, yeah, man.
Gosh almighty.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It wasn't done properly, if I remember right.
Oh, I mean, it was just, it came in hot. Let's just say
it came in hot. Yeah, there you go.
They said that Doug thought that Eddie killed Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that. If you
They said that was Brian Lee's girlfriend's car. And
Golly.
Eddie wasn't used to driving it, so he punched it and accelerated faster than he thought. And
yeah,
man, talk about a bump. Jeez Louise, man.
Because Lawler takes a back bump on the windshield and
he rolls over it too.
Yeah. He tried to take the best he could, try to roll with it, but man, when you get plowed like that, there's no.
he literally rubber ball bumped off of it.
There you go.
Yeah. It was like
did it break the windshield too? Is what I was thinking.
Yeah, it bumped the windshield.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Golly.
I mean, he took.
Well, see, back in '88, then he slammed him in a car windshield. He slammed Lawler in a car windshield on TV.
Yeah.
So I guess they had to up it this. You can't slam me in the car. Let's just run over you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, how about I run you over with a car? Well, whose car?
Because I think that day they did they had, I think it was or the week before or whatever, they put Eddie's mom's minivan up. Lawler won that, so they didn't have a car. So they got Brian Lee's girlfriend's car. That's what I read. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's a Ford Taurus. So
okay. Lawler's like, y'all ain't using the Batmobile. I know that.
Yeah. I've also heard through the years that that people are calling in the cops saying that Lear Lawler just got ran over on TV. Yeah, and the cops come and they said the TV station was hot.
Oh, I bet.
And they said that Lawler had to come back out on TV to show people that he wasn't dead or really seriously hurt, but they said he was hurt more than, and they said he had to go out there, and he said he was in a lot of pain, but he went back out there and cut a promo.
Yeah.
Try to calm people down, because they were calling the cops and everything, calling the news station, and then they said that they got in the back and that Jarrett and Lawler and they were all together And with the news people, and they're trying to. News people were hot about, and they said Lawler and Jarrett couldn't understand why they were so mad. So he was attempted murder on live TV.
Yeah. I mean,
And
come on.
they had to bring Gilbert back in the studio, and yeah, it was just it went. It was a good idea that it could have got really bad. And but hey, that was old Memphis wrestling. That's why so many people watched that show in Memphis, because you never knew what was going to happen.
Yeah. And by the way, get well soon, King. Saw you had another health issue there. Hopefully you're doing okay healthily. I did text Kevin, his son, and Kevin said that he is fine. So we'll go with that. So I don't know if you heard, but he had another stroke. But anyway. All right, keep going, Q.
So we're going to go to September 4th, 1975. We're going to go to Panama City, Florida. And this is probably going to bore people because I'm so intrigued by all this because I never knew this Gulf Coast stuff until this part of it until a few years ago, and it's just really intriguing to me. So Panama City, Florida, Ken Lucas beat Mike York for the Panama City heavyweight title. This is the Gulf Coast promotion. It's like all those cities had their own titles down there. It was crazy. Yeah. Lucas was he was the last. I'll put on here. He was the last Panama City champion, and he left the company in July of '96. So he held it for a long time. And he left the company and went to Florida, Florida Championship Wrestling of Florida, Eddie Graham. So he left. They retired the belt. So there was no more Panama City champion. Like I said, I love those city titles, man. It just, I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I didn't talk about last time, but Mobile also had a City of Mobile heavyweight champion. It wasn't a jacket; it was a trophy.
Okay.
Yeah, and Pensacola, Florida, had a City of Pensacola heavyweight champion. And I thought it was just the Mississippi side had the city champions, but actually the Alabama and Florida had them because Dothan had a City of Dothan tag titles too.
Oh, I was going to ask if it was a Jerry Stubbs Panama Jack hat Pensacola title.
Oh, that would have been great. Yeah, you couldn't beat that right there if that was the case. So it sounds like the jackets might have been just a Mississippi side thing.
Yeah.
So I don't, because like I said, that one's a trophy, and I couldn't find out about the other one. So, but I'm thinking the Mississippi might have just been the jackets, which is so cool. I'm still looking for more pictures, trying to find those jackets.
Seriously, who's got those? Let's see them.
All right, so now we're going to go to September 5th, 1978. We're going to go to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Jerry Jarrett ran his last Chattanooga, Tennessee show on this date because he was running opposition against Nick Goulas.
Oh.
And so he ran his first show against Nick July 11th, 1978. So they had a little war start back up. And I have most of the records from the Tennessee State Athletic Commission. And Jerry didn't do too good against Nick in Chattanooga. Nick was out drawing him every week.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like to hear that.
and the thing is, I look at the card. The card is loaded. First match, you got Abdul Zattar versus Terry Sawyer. Abdul Zattar, he was Rick Sanchez. He was a journeyman. He was Sheik's. He was the Sheik in the UWA Fez. And this Terry Sawyer. Okay, he worked Terry Sawyer, and a lot of people think that was Buzz Sawyer. It was not. At that time period, they looked a lot alike. Short, stocky, and going bald.
Okay.
And but he was a 70s journeyman, and he was a shooter. He was a legit shooter.
Nice.
Yeah, which Buzz was just just beat you down.
Just a brawler.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about just like got into a fight. He would just beat but Terry Sawyer, he was a shooter. Then we go to the next match, Bearcat Brown versus Hans Schroeder. Bearcat Brown, he was a Gulas mainstay, so that really shocked me that he was working opposition against Gulas. He was a big star for Gulas in the late 60s, early 70s. Him and Lynn Rossi, they were the tag team, and to see him go opposite against Gulas with Jerry, that really that was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think it was money? Or do you think it was something different, or just?
I guess him and Nick had a falling out. I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
'Cause I know he went back did some stuff. He went back to Florida around this time period and started working back down in Florida some. So I'm thinking him and Nick must have had a falling out.
Got it.
Yeah. Then the next match was Frankie Lane, Mike Boyer, which is Mike Boyette, the California Hippie, beats Steve Kyle, Wayne Ferris. Everybody knows Wayne Ferris, Honky Tonk Man. Now, Steve Kyle was the one that worked as Steve Lawler in Alabama, Louisiana, and Gulf Coast.
Okay.
Down in Alabama, he was with Lawler. He was a tag team partner with Lawler. And then after Lawler didn't go back to Alabama, they put him with Jim White. Him and Jim White went to Louisiana and he was with Lawler then, but it was Steve Kyle. Fourth match was this actually shocked me too. Bobo Brazil versus John Louis, because Bobo Brazil was the number 2 guy for Sheik in Detroit, and Sheik and Nick were tight as ticks, not only in the wallet but together. Because when everybody was bailing on Nick, Sheik was about the only NWA guy that stayed with Nick.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so to see Bobo work for Jarrett against Nick, that really shocked me.
Yeah.
And then this next match, this was weird too. NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship match. The champion Nelson Royal beat Jackie Welch. Okay, Jarrett was not an NWA member.
Right.
Gilbert was the NWA member.
Okay.
And so I kind of try to find some digging on this. And then I found out that Nelson Royal got in trouble the next year because he went and worked for Japan IWE, which was not a NWA member, and got into trouble the year later. So I don't know what he was doing, but I don't think the NWA was too happy with Nelson Royal around this time. Because it looked like he was just going where the money was. No matter if the promotion was an NWA member or not. So yeah, I was shocked about that.
Yeah.
And Jackie Welch, he's part of that. Welch, Fuller, that whole clan, Goldens, Hatfields, Fields. Now everybody talks about the Samoan dynasty. Now you go look at that Welch dynasty. Now that is a dynasty.
Right. Yeah.
You're talking about owning the whole South, yeah. They had somebody somewhere everywhere for 30 years.
Man.
That family had somebody in every office.
Yeah.
The Samoan dynasty can't touch that Welch dynasty.
But is the Welch dynasty still around
In wrestling? Yeah. No.
See? But, I'm not saying that Samoan, better, whatever like that. I'm just saying they outlasted them at least.
Yeah.
But the Welches has more years. They were from the 30s to the 80s, actually into the 90s, because Jimmy Golden and Robert Fuller were still working in the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So they had a longer run year wise, but modern wrestling, not so much.
Come on, Welch boys. Get y'all somebody in the ring. Keep it going.
And Robert Fuller's got a great couple grandkids, I think. I'm sure there's a bunch of them running around. They're smart. They didn't get in the wrestling business. They were smart.
Yeah, exactly.
So the main event, try to remember on my files what the attendance was, because I couldn't find it anywhere. It's on a flash drive somewhere. I have to go try to dig it up for the attendance. But the main event was Jerry Lawler against Joe LeDuc. I don't see how that didn't draw.
I'm surprised that didn't draw. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because
bad night or something.
Well, like I said, Goodless was I mean, Memphis was wild and crazy, but because Chattanooga I don't know, there was something about Chattanooga. They loved Gillis's guys. And and he still had Fargo, Tojo, and I think because they had that, I don't think Jerry had local TV from what I can remember. I think they were using Memphis tapes. I think where I read that somewhere. So, and they had that live Gillis had that live. Him and Harry Thornton had that live TV, and they'd been there so long, and that's what I'm. They just usually the oppositions never do good. No matter they could be really good somewhere else, and they go to another territory, and they just don't do good because I'll talk about that later. About you think the war's over between Gillis and Jarrett and Fuller, Jarrett and Fuller? It's not.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go to September 1st, 1979. This is one that's just always kind of everybody knows about this one. Pat Patterson becomes the first Intercontinental Champion. And wins the belt in that world famous tournament in Rio de Janeiro.
And who did he beat?
I don't know. Did they ever say?
I don't know.
Like 20
God, I've heard it 100,000 times that he's a champ, but I never heard.
It was like 20 guys he had to beat in the tournament, and he's the North American champion, and he beat the South American champions. So they made it the Intercontinental belt.
It was a blood sport tournament, I'm sure. And
the thing was, like I said, Pat was the North American champion. They said they merged the belts. Okay, what I found, I looked around. They didn't. Pat was still considered North American champion because I dug around. I found in November he went to Otora Hokkaido, Japan, and dropped the North American belt to CG Sakaguchi.
Okay.
And he had the belt for a little while. And finally, I don't know if because they had that agreement with New Japan. I don't know how long it lasted, but finally New York stopped recognizing it as Sakaguchi is the champion, and just never talked about it again. So I always thought that they did. He dropped, but he actually went to Japan to drop it. From what little bit I've seen, video and stuff, he did acknowledge after they put the Intercontinental on him. There was no more talk of the North American, what I could find, but then it pops up that he went over there and dropped the belt over there because the New York guys were doing a tour over there in November of that year, so they dropped the belt. And I guess they were going to maybe do something with it, and I guess I don't know if something had fizzled out. So, but yeah, they still had the belt. Yeah. And I guess the office had it, and they just took it over there to drop it to maybe, I don't know, please Baba. I mean, not Baba, Noki to on their working relationship or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard
because it didn't seem like New Japan did much with it either. So, but yeah, there's a little thing to the story everybody knows about. All right, so we're still this is still the first week of September, which I said I started out slow, and I kept finding stuff. So we're going to go September 5th, 1983. World Class held their first ever Labor Day Star Wars. It was in Fort Worth, Texas, at the Tarrant County Convention Center. I saw the attendance. I want to say the attendance was like 13,000. I think I read some, maybe 13. I mean, it was like huge sellout. Yeah. And some of it's on YouTube, and you could sit, there's like a back wall and where the balcony is. People are sitting on the wall. You can see their feet draped over the wall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was cram packed. It was 83, man. They were hitting their stride. I ain't gonna go over the whole card but the only match on here that the first match was Chris Adams against Mr. Ebony, which is Chris. That was just opening match, no meaning. But man, all the others was like gimmick matches, pretty much. The main event was a World Class 6-man tag team titles. The Freebirds were the champions, and they beat David, Kerry, and Kevin. And I've seen that match is on YouTube too. But it was a stacked card. I mean, they had the American title was on there, the Texas title was on it, Brody and Kamala in a lumberjack match. So it was gimmick. They had a country whipping match. Kerry Von Erich beat Michael Hayes. I'm sure Michael was glad it was Kerry and not Kevin in that match. Kevin's was hard enough to work without getting tatered alive. Can you imagine with a belt in his hand?
Oh man,
yeah, So that was their first big Labor Day show. It became a tradition, and it was the biggest house they had on it. Okay, so then we're going to go to Now this I don't like to put a lot of modern stuff on it, but this right here changed wrestling. Is one of those days that changed wrestling history. September 4th, 1995, we're going to Bloomington, Minnesota. WCW held their first Monday Nitro. And there was only 4 matches because it was an hour. The dark match was American Males. Bagwell and Riggs beat Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater with Colonel Rob Parker. See, there's the dynasty, the Welch dynasty in the 90s. Right there.
There you go.
Then it was Pillman beat Jushin Liger, and Sting, the U.S. heavyweight champion, beat Ric Flair in a no contest. And then the main event was Hulk Hogan versus Big Bubba Rogers. And at the end is when Lex Luger shocked everybody and walked in.
That was in the Mall of America, right?
Yep, sure was. Yep.
That's a wild concept to hold a wrestling event, something like that. I mean, I guess you don't really make much on a gate unless people are paying for like ringside seats.
No, it was all for TV. But you got to think, you say it's a weird place to have a wrestling match. You think about it, they have a freaking roller coaster in that mall.
Yeah, true. That's true.
So, I would expect them to have something, it was good because, it was different because New York, their biggest thing was going to Wildwood casinos. That was, that was, you go into a mall, we're like, whoa, what is this? So going there, I think that was meant to be because it was different, big time different at the time. And I think it was I think they did that to get more eyes on it because nobody's ever said, well, it was done I know back in Florida, it was done. Malenko's promotion ran in the malls, but that was, independent outlaw. Yeah. But for a major promotion to go run inside a mall, which was the biggest mall in America, but still, I think it was done to catch the eye of probably people flipping through and like, where in the crap are they at? Where's this?
Right.
This ain't a smoky arena. What, so I think that was done on purpose to catch some eyes. And, it was that was history, and the whole Luger walking in because he was.
Nobody knew he wasn't still with WWF, basically.
Yeah, because he was on a handshake. His contract was up. He was on a handshake deal. That he never got a contract to sign, and lo and behold, they kayfabed it, and he shows up on Monday night on the other TV. They're like, Vince was puckering, had to be.
They say that was one of the first real shots of the Monday Night Wars. I don't know exactly, but they said that was one of the first real. But Luger he wasn't. He wasn't the right guy to do the Lex Express stuff and everything like that in WWE or WWF. If you watch him like interacting with kids, like during that time, he was like so stiff. But like where Hulk Hogan would be like, be like the perfect person. He wasn't the Hulk Hogan superhero, good with kids, take your vitamins, say your prayers. He was kind of a more to himself guy and everything like that.
Well, the gimmick he was doing, he was the narcissist or whatever it was.
Yeah.
You can't come off of that and go into this all-American, love everybody. It just don't work. And his real personality, from what he says, people knew it wasn't genuine.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And, okay, also, so 7 days later, what really started the Monday Night Wars was WCW Nitro went head-to-head the next week against Raw.
Mm.
Yeah. So next week was shots fired, and the next week was we're coming for war, batten down the hatches. So, yeah. And that was a crazy time in wrestling. Basically it was hot shot booking every week.
Yeah.
You saw matches. That whole way of wrestling changed because you didn't get main event matches on TV. And, some of the territory, Bill Watts did sometimes, but Bill Watts would cut that off right when the comeback would come. Sometimes he'd give you something. But every week to have a main event on TV was just unheard of because, Vince was still doing job matches pretty much all on Raw. It was all interviews, and because all the early 90s was really good for guys, especially around our local guys, worked constantly on those TV tapings. Because that's all all they did was those. So Raw, like I said, it Raw and Nitro, the war, but man, it really changed the way wrestling was booked. Nitro did. It changed everything. And I don't think they realized just the way wrestling was presented was changed with that main events every week. And then finally, Vince had to go with it. He had to start doing the main events on TV, but Vince would never show a main event. And the only time he would do it on the Saturday night main event. You would see main events.
Yeah.
But before that, on Superstars, Challenge, and all that stuff, you'd never see, And then when Raw started up, you'd never see main events. You'd throw a couple, good matches on there. It wouldn't be all job matches, but nothing like what Bischoff did.
Right. It was like pay-per-view level matches. Yeah. Go ahead.
So I tracked down Pat Patterson's opponent in that Intercontinental title match. Any guesses?
Was it
everybody's got a price?
Ted DiBiase?
That's what it says.
Well, that's who he beat that's who he beat for the North American Championship before. So Ted was supposed to be in that tournament too, huh?
This said Pat Patterson won the first Intercontinental Championship by defeating Ted DiBiase. This historic match took place on September 1st, 1979 in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Actually, so they did have ace. I was like, so Ted took that, went down to that world famous tournament too, huh?
Yeah.
Apparently so.
Wow.
Apparently so.
That's funny. All right, so we're going to go to September 6th, 1997. Going back to Memphis, Tennessee. And Stephen Dunn beat Doomsday for the USWA heavyweight title. And I'll put this on here because Stephen Dunn was the last USWA heavyweight champion because the promotion closed in November 19th, 1995. And the belts kind of, in USWA at that time period, the belts, they had a lot of different things. But that belt goes all the way back to the Southern Junior Heavyweight title, which then become the Southern Heavyweight title, which then become the CWA title, then become the USWA Southern title. So that was the final part of that going. Remember the little square belt Lawler had that got stolen?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they go. That's the lineage of that belt,
Okay.
That's why I put that on there. Just a little for Memphis people.
Yeah.
So we're finally out of that first week. All right. Here's another one of these Gulf Coast things. I'm sure it's going to bore everybody. September 15th, 1976, Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Danny Little Bear and Gene Lewis beat Luke Brown and Lord John Raven for the City of Hattiesburg Tag Team Championship. And they were the last City of Hattiesburg Tag Team Champions. So they're phasing out this is like the mid 70s before they sold off to Ron Fuller. It seemed like they started phasing out these city championships. Because I guess the Mississippi side, I don't think it was as strong toward the end. Because I don't think Fuller ran a lot of the Mississippi side. I don't think he went all the way up to like Hattiesburg, and actually, definitely don't think he went all the way up to Meridian. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't really. If he did, it was spot shows.
Bring back city titles. That's what we're asking.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Give me back my city titles.
There you go. That's great. All right, so now we're gonna go back to Memphis. This is like a Memphis episode, ain't it?
Hey,
Hey, what you know and love, you go with, right?
hey, you gotta feed the people, man. That's what I say. If that's what they want, we're gonna feed it to them. So,
All right. So yeah, this one till this day is still crazy. September 13th, 1977. We're going to Memphis, Tennessee, the Mid-South Coliseum in a hair versus hair match. Jerry Lawler beat Bill Dundee. Okay, the week before, Jerry Lawler beat Bill Dundee in a hair match. Dundee had his head shaved. And this week, whose hair was up on Dundee's side? His wife, Beverly.
yeah, we've heard this.
So Lawler beats Dundee. Beverly gets her head shaved. And Jamie says that basically that's what the payoff was, a down payment on their new house. So she shaved her head and got a new house.
Hey.
And at this time, I'd never heard of any wife being, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I heard some, the manager, they lose, and so their manager gets her head shaved. But the wife, this was, unheard of. I guess what I say earlier, you never know what was going to happen in Memphis.
Right.
Wild and crazy, man.
Right.
And I don't think why it hadn't been done again, or I know of been ever done again. I mean, one thing, the price probably was really high for somebody to talk their wife into actually come up with it. And no promoter was going to pay it. But you know what? I thought about this after I was doing this. I'm surprised Paul Jones didn't shave Big Mama's head.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, for sure.
They cut the beard, cut the ponytail, but they never touched Big Mama's hair. And she had that big fro. Oh, man, that would have been great. I mean, can you imagine that would have been, oh my gosh, that would have been classic, man.
Yeah. She would have been lopsided for sure, but
that's why he had that big old fro to
balance her out. Yeah.
Oh, me.
Maybe they couldn't come to terms on a price for that. Maybe it was, maybe it was thrown out there.
I don't think Mr. Crockett was going to shell out enough money, but man, if that did, man, that would have been. Now you can just imagine that the interview Hanson would give after that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That would have been classic, man.
Definitely.
Yeah. So like I said, that's only one time I know of a wife getting their head shaved. So this next one's modern wrestling. I didn't want to use it, but it was history. I think it's history. So we're going to go to September 9th, 2004. We're going to Nashville, Tennessee, to the Fairgrounds Sports Arena.
Ooh.
TNA ran their last weekly pay-per-view in Nashville and their last TNA Explosion show. Yeah, the main event was the NWA World Title match. Jeff Jarrett beat Jeff Hardy. And so that was their last weekly pay-per-view, because after that, they were already filming in Orlando. They were filming stuff and already filming, because the next day they were in Orlando filming.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was their actually last of those weekly pay-per-views in Nashville. So like I said, it's not a lot of people, but to me, I think that's history, because they came in there and was running every week in that building, and they just got up and left, and then Burt Prince had to come back in and save Nashville Wrestling.
Again. Come on, Burt. Save us, Burt.
Yeah, I thought, I said not a lot of people, but I think that was like local history.
It's important. It's important to the people that listen to the show too. Yeah.
So
what kind of numbers did they do on those weekly pay-per-views, do you think?
I've heard different things. Well, I know when it started, they were getting the wrong numbers. They thought they were doing really good, and they come to find out the numbers were fudged, and that's why they were in trouble and had to find a buyer.
Got it.
Yeah. So then after Dixie came in, I don't know what the weeklies were. I've heard there's enough to stay afloat with her daddy's money, and
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll go to the third week. We're going to go to September 21st, 1933. EMLL ran their first show. They're the longest running promotion because they're still running today. In Mexico, is CML. I don't think I can pronounce the name of this place. Cudata, Mexico.
Okay.
I'm just going with that. But yeah, I just put on there because they're still running. And they started in 1933, so I thought that was pretty.
That is
pretty cool that promotion can. And they've had people through the years run opposition. Then AAA come in and basically took half their business, but they're still, both of them are still going. So
yeah,
AAA and it's CMLL. So I figured I'll throw that in there to.
That's good info. Yeah.
People like the lucha. So
got a little lucha.
Yeah, a little lucha. So then we're going to go to September 17th, 1963. We'll go back to Nashville, Tennessee. Nick Goulas ran the last wrestling show at Surferdale Ballpark in Nashville. The attendance was 3,500. The main event was NWA World Title match. Luthez beat Maurice Lapointe. I didn't know much about Maurice. He was a big star in Canada, worked about 15 years, worked like all the Canadian territory promotions, worked a lot in the northern territories of the United States, and in the mid to late 60s, he actually came south and worked a lot in the South. So, but yeah, they tore this ballpark. That was the last season for the Nashville Vols minor league team in '63, and I think it was 64 or 65. They turned the ballpark into a racetrack.
Wow.
And they did that for a year or two. And then after that, the city of Nashville used it as their junkyard towing lot. And I think in 67, they tore it down.
Okay.
But it was a historical stadium. It was a minor league ballpark. They had the Babe Ruth played there when they had the exhibition games, when the major league teams in the 30s and stuff, 20s and 30s would go around the country, and stuff like that. So
that's cool.
It was always, if you're a Nashville resident, it's the historic value of it. And now it actually, Jimmy, did you ever go to the new Nashville Sound Stadium?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's where that's at, down there.
Okay. Gotcha.
That area right there. So for now, yep.
Okay.
Actually, I think because I know at one time it was the state employee parking lot, because I parked there for a few months when I worked downtown Nashville for the state of Tennessee. It was their parking lot, and I think when they built this new stadium, I think some of the stadium is actually in part of some of what Surferdale was.
Oh, you said the new stadium. I'm sorry, the newest Sound. I'm sorry, I have not been to that.
Okay.
I heard great things. I've been to the other stadium for mini games.
You went to old Greer Stadium, man. Yeah. I grew up at Greer, man.
Dude, Greer was the best.
It was so 70s. And they didn't do any upgrades on that place. But it just had that old minor league ballpark mystique where they, you build it and you let it sit there for 20 years.
Yeah.
Don't do nothing to it,
Yeah. Richard Sturban, I think the Elvira from the Oak Ridge Boys, if I'm pretty sure that's his name, he owned them at that time.
He was a part of him. I want to say Bobby Bear. The main guy was Larry Schmittou, which was a big figure in Nashville. He coached for Vanderbilt some. He was a legendary baseball figure in Nashville, Larry Schmittou. But it was a bunch of country music artists and stuff. And I remember Rob Dibble told a story. If you know Cincinnati Reds, everybody knows.
Of course.
Rob.
Oh yeah, Nasty Boys.
Double barrel Rob there.
Yeah,
and,
seriously.
He told the story one time where they got Sturban gave them a bus to use. It was one of the old Oak Ridge Boys bus. It had no air conditioning on it. And he told this story where they were somewhere, I think around Birmingham or somewhere, and it was just after game, and it was like August. He said it was just so hot, and they all got in this bus, and there was no air, and the windows didn't open. And he talked about, and he said one of the Dominican guys got buck naked and was on the floor going. He was saying, he kept yelling, "Bussy so hot, Bussy so hot." He said it was so hot the Dominicans didn't even like it. But he was part owner of that. Like I said, I want to say there was several different. I think maybe Jerry Reed had a percentage of it. I think Bobby Bear. There was a bunch of Nashville countries that had percentages in it over the years.
That's awesome. Yeah, but I just remember going to the games and you could see Richard and his wife sitting there randomly.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
You would see, especially in the 80s, you would see country music people there all the time.
Yeah.
It was because that was our only sport in Nashville.
Yeah.
That and wrestling.
Wrestling. Well, that was the only sport we needed.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go on with baseball and wrestling.
No, not at all. Not at all. The best.
All right. So now we're going to go to Gulfport, Mississippi. It's going to be September 20th, 1969. And I promise this is going to be the last one of these city things. Bobby Fields and Bob Kelly were awarded the City of Gulfport tag team titles, become the first champions. Fields is part of that. He was Lee Fields' his brother. Lee Fields owned the Gulf Coast promotion. I think Bobby had some little bit of ownership. I think maybe he was a mainstay. Next, there's that Welch tie-in. The Hatfields, the Hatfields, they're tied in by marriage to the Welch, they were Hatfields. They were called Fields. And Bob Kelly. Cowboy Bob Kelly, mainstay in Gulf Coast. Their top guy for years. I remember they did an angle one time with him, and Jackie Fargo went down and worked, was heel. And this was way after into his Nashville, Memphis run as the top babyface. But he went down there and worked heel against Bob Kelly, and they did this whole gimmick where Bob Kelly built the cage for him and Fargo's match. They built it up where he built the cage and everything. They had pictures of him building the cage and stuff.
That's cool. I like that.
That's some neat stuff. So he was one of their top guys. Oh, I lied. There's more. I thought this should be the last one. Going to Pensacola, Florida, September 22nd, 1970. The Wrestling Pro beat Bob Kelly, become the first City of Pensacola heavyweight champion. Which we just talked about Bob Kelly. The Wrestling Pro was Leon Baxter. And he was another Gulf Coast mainstay for years as the Wrestling Pro. And he's the father of a Memphis guy who actually has been talked about on this on our shows. He's the father of Sean Baxter.
Oh yeah, heard about him several times. Usually being ribbed, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
Poor guy.
His dad was one of the biggest stars in Gulf Coast. When he comes to Memphis and he gets tortured.
Yeah, seriously, mercilessly.
So I'm pretty sure I'm done with that.
Okay.
City things. We're going to go to September 17th, 1981. We're going to go to Kansas City, Kansas, Memorial Hall. Ric Flair beats Dusty Rhodes for the NWA World Title.
Nice.
Special ref was Luthez in that crazy shirt he wore all the time when he did the special refereeing. And this was Flair's first title run.
Yeah. Nice.
Yep. So it was his first run. That's why I put it in there, because it was his first of many.
Yeah, for sure.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Come heat up your summer over at Captain's Corner, the purveyor of all things wrestling. We'll be working with stars like Wheeler Yuta, King Haku, Coco Beware, and many more in the months of July and August. Also, make sure to mark down September 20th on the calendar as we present Slam Fest 2025. Montreal's first ever pro wrestling convention will be presented by Captain's Corner and our friends at LWA. Featuring The Godfather, Barry Windham, The Godwins, Doink and Dink the Clown, and a dozen additional stars. It all happens at Ruby Foos on the 20th of September. Make sure to check us out on both Facebook and Instagram at Captain's Corner. Cheers to the working man.
All right, now this one, I couldn't really find an actual date because it's one of those Rio de Janeiro deals. All right, so in mid-September, Texas All-Star, early in the year, Blanchard sold out. Southwest changed to Texas All-Star. Okay, so about mid-September, they crown a Texas All-Star U.S. Heavyweight Champion. I cannot find a date, a place. A few things popped up. Arizona, the match happened in Arizona. Their first champion was crowned, and like I said, this is a Rio de Janeiro deal. I'm 99% sure. Ted DiBiase becomes their first champion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything on this anywhere except he was the first champion, and all I could find was him having one match in Texas All-Star, and it was, I think, 2 weeks later against Chavo Guerrero, which he dropped the strap to Chavo. Because Watts is working full time with Watts. DiBiase is working full time with Watts, right? And so I just don't. And the One Man Gang was down there too. So in '85, I mean, that was Watts, and the gang worked a little bit for World Class and Watts that time period. But Ted was his main guy for Watts. So I don't know if this was like a one-time deal and say, hey, can we get DiBiase to come down here and we'll kayfabe a title on him and let him drop it to Chavo, I guess, to get some rub.
Yeah.
And get Chavo some rub and get the belt some rub. So I'm thinking that's what that was. I don't think he ever won the belt. It was just given to him.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of that happening in wrestling that people don't really know about.
Yeah. And then Andre gave him the title too back,
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think Ted DiBiase won the Texas All-Star U.S. title in Phoenix. In Arizona in '85. I just don't think that happened.
Yeah.
The only thing I know about '85 Arizona was all outlaw.
Okay.
So that couldn't happen.
Right? They just did a match right in the middle of outlaw territory and just said, hey, it's real.
Yeah. We're gonna. I mean, Vince was running it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe once, twice a year, maybe, but in '85, that was outlaws. So we're going to backtrack to September 16th, 1968. We're going to go to Los Angeles, California. George Crybaby Cannon becomes the first NWA Hollywood Beat the Champ TV champion. This is for LaBelle's promotion. He won a tournament. He beat the Medic, which I'm thinking that was really Tony Gonzalez, the Medic. And the reason why I did this, I mean, it's not, it's kind of not really, I mean, it's the first one. But this was the first thing I could really find of a promotion doing that Beat the Champ champion. Because remember, Cornette did it in Smoky Mountain.
Yeah.
And that's one I really know. Known that gimmick to be was really in Smoky Mountain, and this is the only place I could find that actually was first one I ever seen do it. So and a lot of people might know George Cannon, Crybaby Cannon, as more as a manager in the '70s. He was a big old guy. He was from Canada. He promoted a lot in Canada up there. I think his claim to fame was he was the manager of the Kangaroos. Yeah. For a while.
Okay.
Yeah, he managed them. So, but I remember that was Cornette did that, was big on that, Beat the Champion there for a while.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, y'all, those Smoky Mountains, y'all definitely, I think was Tracy like the first one, maybe?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty positive.
I think Tracy was Smoky Mountain's first Beat the Champion, I think.
I'm pretty positive.
Wasn't they carried a check around?
Yeah. I remember that.
Maybe.
Yeah,
because I remember toward the end, it was when like Robbie Eagle had it, wasn't like all wrinkled up and
yeah,
like it been thrown in the washing machine and dried.
Old Stro gave him the wrinkled one. Poor guy.
All right. Yeah, I guess Cornette, we don't want no company checks floating around. The boys will forge them.
Oh,
and that's our account. They'll pull Occidental on them. So we'll do it in one check. We're not putting out more checks out of the checkbook.
No, we're not even make a big one or anything. We're just doing it.
So then we'll go to September 17th, 1983, going to San Juan, Puerto Rico, to the Roberto Clemente Stadium. WWC held their first annual anniversary show. The attendance was 32,000.
Golly.
Yeah. Yeah. They were cooking at this time period. They were talking about red hot. And this was the biggest attendance they ever had for one of their anniversary shows. The card was like 27 matches. So I'm not going to go over. I'm just going to go over. The main event was Carlos Colon and Harley Race went to a 60-minute time limit draw.
Daggone. Woo.
And they were like, okay, there was actually 14 matches.
Oh, man.
So they were there at 1 o'clock in the morning. Had to be. If that went 60-minute legit, which they try to keep them. And now there was a 20-minute time limit on a match that made no sense. El Grande Apollo worked Kendo Nagasaki to a 20-minute time limit draw. And why that went 20 minutes, I have no idea. Now, the other match that was interesting was Don Kairos and Mil Mascaras beat the Infernos. I wish I was wanting to try. I wish I could have asked this guy if I'd known this years back. I could have asked him if this was right. The 2 or 3 places I found this, they both had the Infernos as the same people. Can you guess who they have as the Infernos on this card?
Yeah. Give me the year again one more time.
Yes.
1983. You'll never guess. I won't tell you.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I was like, no way. That's why I looked around. I wish I could have. Gypsy Joe and Tim Renesto.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
That's why I think it's real, because why in the world you would put. I could see Joe being, because he was actually one of the Blue Infernos back in the 60s or 70s. But Tim Renesto, he was at the time, wasn't he? I think he just started working with Poffos as Speed Manson around this time. But I remember his dad did book Puerto Rico, but I can't remember what time period. I'm saying this was Gypsy Joe and Tim Renesto.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
what a tag team. That's a stiff tag team.
You got that right. Timmy knew when to be stiff and where to be stiff.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, I got one first time I worked Timmy. I got one right across the roof of my mouth, below my nose, closed on the floor at the sports arena in Nashville. But but everything else was light as a feather. And man, talking about somebody who could go. His age, I ain't saying he was old, but he was a lot older than us. Man, he was still going 90 miles an hour. Boy, he could go.
Seriously.
Timmy could go.
Yeah.
Could go. I'm sure he could still go to this day if he was still working. He could still go.
He has great punches, kicks, everything.
Yes. He had some of the best looking kicks, man.
I know.
Very underrated. Very underrated.
I think they were it's because they were pretty much half shoot anyway.
Yeah, they were snug. They were in there.
Yeah.
But it will not hurt you.
Right, of course. No, I'm just saying he kept it snug.
Yeah, the times I worked, the times I worked him in Nashville, I mean, like that first thing that would just kind of, like I said, the rest of the times I worked him, with him and Jeff Daniels, it was fine, Yeah. I mean, he wasn't light as Jeff, but good gosh, man, Jeff was so light, sometimes you had to wonder, like, he just, Jeff's stuff looked like it was killing you, and you couldn't feel it. You're like, do I sell that, or But anyway, so that was their first big show. Had all the, just a loaded card. Gorilla Monsoon worked that card too, and '83 he was pretty much done. But he owned a percentage of Puerto Rico for a long time, so I don't know if he still owned it or not, but.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was a stacked card, and like I said, I had to throw that in there because Joe and Ernesto, local guys, was in it. So it would take me all night to 1 o'clock to go over those matches because that's how long it took them. All right, so we're going to go to the last week of September. We're going to go to September 27th, 1965, New York City, New York. Bruno Sammartino just got done working the Garden. He worked against Tarzan Tyler. And after the match, he did his regular monthly Garden thing. Him and Arnold Scowen went to eat after the show. The car was parked in front of the Biltmore Theater. I could never find the name of the restaurant they actually went to. Well, they come out, and lo and behold, the car got broken in two. Bruno's bag got stolen along with the WWF World Heavyweight Title.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And some say it was Bruno's car. Some say it was actually Arnold Scolin's car. But yeah, it was broke into and stolen.
Man.
And this was for years and years. This was the Holy Grail belt.
Yeah.
And then recently, supposedly somebody had found it in an attic or somewhere, and they sold it to the Wrestling Hall of Fame up there in New York. And half the people say it's real, half the people say it's not. So I don't know which one to believe. It looks old. What picture I saw of it, the video I saw of it, I know it hasn't been used since 65, but if it was just stored somewhere and not preserved, and
Yeah.
and no telling what happened after it got stolen, how beaten around, it looked too good of shape. To be, unless it was sitting around in a velvet bag for 60 something years.
Right.
It wouldn't look that condition.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, do you think they stole it in a velvet bag? Do you think Bruno carried?
I'm sure it had some kind of bag, because it was the nice one. This was one of the nice. They said it was really nice.
Got it. Okay.
It wasn't just the old cast mold.
Okay.
Because what I saw, it looked like it was, and it definitely wasn't one of those old Intercontinental tag belts from the late 70s, early 90s, where the corners would stab you and gig you, the old trophy shop belts they had.
Right.
But no, this was a really nice belt.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering if somebody saw a bag, broke in the car. I don't know if they knew who it was, Bruno or not. And then they got the bag, opened it up, and there's a belt. Okay, it's all over the papers in New York City. You can't sell that belt.
Right.
I mean, because everybody, you had baseball, football, basketball, hockey up there. Wrestling was big time. They were selling 20,000 at the Garden once a month. TV, it was going to, if you try to sell it, somebody would know. And I would say it didn't get sold later to somebody and given to somebody. I'm saying? It had to have been passed around, or maybe once or twice, to get to where it was at, to be found. But it wouldn't have been in the condition of the video of the guy. There's no way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had one of the old Memphis AWA Southern Heavyweight tag titles at one time. The old red, white, and blue tag belts that it's famous in the first concession stand brawl with Tupelo that Dundee and Lawler and the Blonde Bombers used. I had one of those at one time. I had it for like 6 years.
Wow.
And the leather was so just wore out. And the plates are still good because they use them old brass thick plates for the main plate. But the leather, you could tell just, if it was stored, it had to be stored in climate. If it was an attic, there's no way that leather wouldn't have weathered in that non-climate control attic. There's no way.
Right. Heat and all that. Yeah.
Yes. Because, this belt looked like it was the day it got stolen from the car, the video.
Wow.
Yeah. It's one of those Holy Grail belts that just popped up out of nowhere, but it's, I'll say yes, I'll say no. So, All right. So we're staying in the New York area. We're going to go to September 30th, 1972. We're going to go to Queens, New York, Shea Stadium. First showdown at Shea. The attendance was 22,508. And you look at that and you're like, that ain't much more than the Garden. So what, I've heard a few things through the years that the Garden was blacked out at that time and was being used for something else. Some people say the Democrat convention, but I always thought that was like in July and August. I could be wrong. I should have looked it up, but they said that it was blacked out. Nobody could get into the building. So they knew they had to move out, go somewhere else. There's no other big buildings in New York City area. So they went to Shea, went to Queens. And everybody knows, most everybody knows, the main event was the WWF World Title match. with Pedro Morales and Bruno Sammartino, was Pedro was the champion.
Yeah.
There was also a women's world title match on that card too. Moolah beat Debbie Johnson. And also another one that kind of stood out was in the third match, El Olympico defeated Chuck O'Connor. And I was like, Chuck O'Connor? And I looked, 72, there's no way Big John Studd was wrestling in 72 in New York. And lo and behold, it was Chuck O'Connor. It was Big John Studd, his first year in the business.
Wow.
First year in the business. And cause he was working for LaBelle as, what was it, something Minton, Monster Minton or something like that. But yeah, he was up there. I was like, wow. And he got a good push in 72 in New York. I was shocked. I didn't know he was working that early on top. Well, not on top, but as a,
as a
mid to high level card guy in his first year. I mean, that says a lot to be, working for New York and being that high up on the card for that time period. Gorilla Monsoon beat Ernie Ladd by referee stoppage. That's two big old boots in the ring. And I'm trying to remember, I think El Olympico, he wore a hood. And I know in Madison Square Garden, you could not wear hoods at the time. And Olympico, I'm 99% that's who it was. I've only seen one match of it. He had his mask cut out. The face was cut out. Because it was against the Athletic Commission would not let you wear masks. I don't know if it was New York City proper or if it was just a garden thing or what it was, but yeah, it was against the Athletic Commission rules. So instead of just going completely without the mask, he cut the face out so you could see his face. You couldn't cover your face.
Yeah, man.
There's video out there somewhere. I saw it years ago, and I was like, what in the world is this? And I remember I was like, oh, yeah, they couldn't wear their mask at Madison Square Garden. So, yeah, this guy, instead of taking off his mask, I mean, I don't know why he didn't because you saw his whole face. But, yeah, he had it cut out. You could see his whole face. But so through the years, I've heard the match was horrible with Bruno and Pedro. They said it went a legit hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, this was a disaster. Everything I've read, except Bruno has an interview somewhere where he talked about how great the match was. He's the only person, I'm not talking bad because he's a legend, everything, but he's the only person I've heard said this match was good. It was disaster from the get-go. It was late September in New York. Shea Stadium in September and October was known to be horribly cold because they had the wind coming off the bay right there. And it rained like for 3 days before this. And they said it was misting during the show. And then these two guys, which were ground and pound, slow kick punch, went an hour and 15 minutes.
Wow. And
they said at one point during the match, they sent George Still out there to run in. And I don't know if some people might have remember from the old magazine, the picture of him trying to run in and the cops, New York City cops holding him back. They got the nightstick around George Still's throat, holding him back. And they said that killed like 5 minutes to get, because it was just so, they said it was, I mean, I can imagine the idea of going an hour and 15.
What would be the purpose behind that?
Yeah, that's what I want to say. 'Cause they said this was Bruno's idea. That he had talked about for years of why couldn't babyface match happen and be top, be a top match main event, because it never had happened. He kept pushing, and this is what I heard in a Bruno interview where he finally talked Senior into doing it. And that's when he said it was a great match, but he takes credit for it, saying it was his idea. And I guess because nobody could lose, Bruno wasn't going to lose. Pedro was your champion, and Bruno wasn't. He had just come back, like the month before, I think, or a little bit. He'd not been back long. So you're not going to have Bruno lose. You're not going to have Pedro lose and drop the belt. So you go to a atomic draw, which would be 60 minutes, and you're like, "Whoa, why would you do that?" But in their summary, they went in further than that. Well, I guess the whole thing was they're so good that neither could beat each other. So let's just keep going and going. Which, why in the world would you not? If you had George Steele come out there, if that was already planned in the match, or if that was something they just come up off the fly to try to save it. But if that was planned in the match, why didn't you let that be the finish? Because he was the monster heel. Let him come in and attack both of them.
Great point. Yeah.
And not sit out in the freaking cold for, there was 7 matches, and I don't understand it. I mean, why would you? And the match had no comeback to it. This was a one-time deal.
Yeah, right.
Why would you make the people sit through that?
It's a good question.
Yeah, the best thing would have Steele come in and get them both.
Yeah.
Well, I think, they said, well, we don't want to, well, then we'd have to start up an angle with Steele and Pedro and Brooke. No, not really. Because Pedro's your main guy, so you can spin it off with Pedro and Steele.
Right.
It just, I don't know. I guess it's one of those old time booking things of it's our biggest 2 stars ever. They'll sit through whatever.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could get from it.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So
egos.
I guess. I think it's more the book, that old style booking your main event titles usually went. There's either the 2 out of 3 fall thing or time it draws. That old school booking. Yeah. So we're going to go to September 26, 1978. We're going to Louisville, Kentucky. We talked about people running against each other wars. On this day, Nick Gillis ran his last show in Louisville. So Jarrett and Welch was running Fuller. Welch Fuller, the dad. So they went into Chattanooga and ran for 3 months against Nick. Didn't work. Nick went into, I think this is why they went into Chattanooga, because Nick went into Louisville in May of 78. So he went into Louisville before Jarrett went into Chattanooga. So this was his last card. From what I've heard through the years, Nick didn't do good in Louisville. It's the same thing when Jarrett didn't do good in Chattanooga. Nick didn't do good in Louisville.
Huh. It's like they were cursed or something.
Yeah. Like I said, that whole thing of if you go in opposition, it never works out for the guy coming in.
Yeah.
Might be successful in other places, but when he comes in to try to take over the part of the territory or the whole territory, it never works.
You hear that, podcasters? You hear that? Okay.
Oh, me. But anyway, I mean, I don't know. It just seems that way because people are set into that promotion and their ways of booking.
Yeah.
They're people. Even though, these 2 promotions went into these different towns, all these guys worked these towns before when it was just under Gillis Welch banner before the breakout.
Okay.
So it wasn't like it was a whole new crew coming to these things. The car will go real fast. The Beast worked Bill Helm. Bill Helm was a Louisville guy. Him and I can't remember the other guy. They were from Louisville. They worked for Phil Golden when he went into Louisville and tried to take over Louisville in the early 70s. They worked for Thez in Nashville. Bill Helm, was it Joe Ball? Bill Helm and Joe Ball? But they were Louisville guys. This next match was our good friend Arville Hutto versus Blue Yankee number 976. And I don't know who that was. I don't think anybody does, except they were working that night.
Yeah.
Third match was Chewy Little Fox against Tojo Yamamoto. Chewy was Chief Thundercloud's drummer boy Chewy. Fourth match was Burrhead Jones against Gypsy Joe. Burrhead Jones, if you're in Georgia and Alabama in the 70s, you know who old Burrhead Jones is.
Oh, yeah.
He was a black guy, worked Alabama a lot, and had a good run down there with Jimmy Golden's dad at the Montgomery promotion.
Okay.
Yeah, Burrhead had a really good run down there in the 70s, down in Montgomery for Bill Golden. Then the fifth match was a Mid-America title match. Mexican Angel champion against Chief Thundercloud. Both of those are Goulas guys. Big Keith Thorncroft, really Goulas guys. Mexican Angel, from what I remember and what little bit of video footage is out there, very underrated. His last name's Torres. I can't remember what his first name was, but he worked for Goulas a lot in the 70s. Sixth match was an NWA U.S. heavyweight title match. The champion, the Sheik, versus Bobby Eaton.
Nice. Nice.
I don't know if Bobby got the pencil or whatever that thing was the Sheik used to use. So he probably got color that night.
Oh, yeah.
And then the main event was Ken Lucas, Dutch Mantel, and Jerry Barber versus Ripper Collins, Whipper Watson Jr., and Las Vegas Louie.
Nice.
Was the main event. And that was his last card as he pulled out because when I heard they never drew good. So.
And Ken Lucas was many times I've heard Ricky Morton say his favorite babyface of all time. So
Ricky Morton actually says when people say Ricky Morton's the best babyface, Ricky Morton say, "No, I wasn't. Ken Lucas was the best babyface ever."
And what do you think about that statement?
The truth, I haven't seen enough Ken Lucas. There's some out there. It just. I don't know. And there's a little bit of his late 70s Memphis stuff, not a lot. Just a few of the Gulf Coast, those Gulf Coast tapes that floated around for years. A couple matches on there. And then probably the most stuff you can find might be when him and Ricky was in San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
For Blanchard. And that's where that's where Ricky said he learned everything.
Yeah.
It was the rookie and the veteran together. So there's not enough out there for me to say Ken Lucas was the best babyface. It's like, they said in the 70s the best babyface was Ricky Gibson.
Have you seen much on him?
There's not a lot out there, but what I've seen, he was a fiery babyface. And at the time in the South, a lot of people didn't come off that top rope. Ricky Gibson did. It's one of those, there's no footage out there enough to say, yeah, that was the best babyface. But there is a Ricky Morton, so that's why we all say Ricky Morton was the best babyface ever, because there's more footage of Ricky.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So who can say, unless you saw all these guys live, if you saw Ricky Gibson, you saw Ken Lucas,
Would you say Ricky Gibson was similar to like Ricky Steamboat or something like that, kind of fiery?
Okay, Ricky Steamboat was fiery with control.
Okay, gotcha.
Ricky Gibson was fiery with just all crap breaking loose. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Southern fire. There's a difference between northern fire and southern fire.
I got you. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
And Ricky Gibson was that southern fire, just and he wasn't a big guy. It's one of those I wish that there was so much more footage,
Yeah.
Because what little bit I saw Ricky Gibson against Lawler, like that one match, I mean, what little bit the clip match that's out there, yeah, it's sad we can't say because all we know is Ricky Morton. But if Ricky Morton says he wasn't and Ken Lucas was, I got to go with Ricky because Ricky saw Ricky Gibson.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So if Ken Lucas was the best babyface we never saw, Ricky Gibson had to be the second babyface we never saw.
And maybe they would have been the Rock and Roll Express that we never saw together. I'm just saying.
Who knows, man? It's one of those who knows.
Yeah.
So Nick licked his wounds, packed it, went back to Nashville. Well, he was always in Nashville, but that's just another town. Mm-hmm. And what's crazy, a little after that, Jarrett and Goulas started working together. Because when Jarrett made that CWA World Heavyweight Title, that big, another Holy Grail belt that got lost that Robinson took, and supposedly his wife got it in the divorce.
Yeah.
And Billy Robinson, he took it. And you've seen that big white, just monstrous colored trophy shop belt.
Yeah, definitely.
The CWA World Title. Okay, so Goulas started promoting the CWA World Heavyweight Champion to come in, even though he was still in NWA and still having Harley come in. He started, and I think everybody says that Jarrett and Welch, they didn't buy out Goulas until mid-September of 80. They already had a percentage in 80. I don't want to say around early summer. Gillis only had, what was it? I think he had 50%. Jared had 25, and Welch had 25.
Huh.
So they already had a percentage of the promotion. And I think it went on. I think there was some, because, like I said, they were bringing Lawler in as the CWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Okay.
In 79. And in 79, when Gillis had that big first show at the Nashville Sports Arena in Nashville, when they moved across the fairgrounds to the building built for wrestling, that first show, Lawler, and I think it was supposed to have been Superstar Billy Graham, but he didn't show up.
Oh.
Graham was working in Memphis with Lawler for that world title. Because Nashville, they said Nashville was on its butt. Now, it wasn't. Now, 77, it got kind of low.
Uh-huh.
Savage and Mantell did bring it up. They brought the houses back up. But yeah, all territories go down.
Of course.
Yeah, you have you up and down. So 77, late 77, early 78, yeah, Nashville was down. I don't think Chattanooga was down. I think just Nashville was down. And then I think when they got this working agreement, I think Nick realized, because Savage left, Dutch was still there, but that hot Savage Dutch feud, which brought the houses back, was gone. He didn't have nothing. I think the houses are. I got all these files on a flash drive somewhere of the attendance for the Nashville house shows. And I remember they were up big time in 78 with Mantell and Savage. And when they left, I did remember seeing the houses did go. They were still good. I mean, it wasn't like they were, because that little building they were in at the fairgrounds, they drew 900 to 1,200 every week. That was, their thing. When Savage and Mantell got red hot, there was like 2,000. I saw some of the records would say 2,000, 2,200 in that little building. And if anybody remembers that little building, it wasn't the women's building where it had the ceiling cut out. It was actually the third building at the fairgrounds they went to. It was a small, narrow, but it was a long building. And they had ringside chairs, and then they had the roll-in bleachers on all four sides. And you couldn't go up high. The ceiling was not high. Like the women's building, it was cut out. So you had just regular sized bleachers. You couldn't put no more people in. 1,000 people, it was the way it was set up for like 1,000, 1,200 people. That's what the setup was. They started drawing 2,000, 2,200. They had to roll back the bleachers because they couldn't go up any higher. So they had to put in, and so you only had your bleachers going to be so high. And if you ever see video, it's the one where the ring above it has those plastic little triangle shaped things all around it on Nashville. That's that building. So the ceiling's not high at all. And so you couldn't go up high. So they moved the bleachers back, and they had to put in more chairs. And it was always back. They couldn't go sideways. The middle was real narrow. So if using the bleachers on that one side, you was pushed way back. And then, like I said, then when Savage left, and there was no, they brought the Freebirds in. That was kind of hot. They did the thing was the Freebirds and Tom Ernesto and Tom Jr. and all that. I think that's who they did the Freebirds. The houses stayed steady. And then when I think in 78 is when they got the idea, hey, we got to get a bigger building. This one is just outgrown. So they set the plans to build a sports arena. Then it kind of went down when Savage and Mantell was over. Freebirds kind of picked it back up. They're still drawing, 1,000 people, 1,200. They're normal, and so they built that building, and they started doing that working agreement. And I'm thinking Jarrett, they went in there for that fairgrounds first show at the sports arena and saw that crowd. I think Jerry said, Nashville's not dead. No, Nashville's not dead at all. And that's when I think it came more than a working agreement. I said Jarrett and Welch didn't buy it until the summer or till late summer on that buyout. I got the thing where it said they were 50-50, 25-25 in the summer. So I think that's when actually percentage of that territory was bought from Nick. I've seen that it used to be called Jarrett Parsons. I don't know what it's called now. The
Wrestling Legends Network. Yeah.
Okay, there's some stuff on there of Goodless Mid-America, and there's some stuff from the fairgrounds, from the sports arena, and you can see it is packed. And it was during the Dutch Mantell Bobby Eaton feud. and that was 79-80, and it was packed. So I'm thinking Jerry and Welch bought in way before everybody knew. And there's nobody to prove it because they're all gone. You got some people saying, "Oh man, Jerry and Welch didn't buy in until they bought him out." No, I got the thing where it says they were 25-50, and that was before the actual buy. When they fully come and took over as Dickie Steinborn as the booker and everything in 1st of September, mid-September.
Okay.
So. Yeah, and then because that stuff come out with Goulas about in late August of him taking the checkbook, shutting the accounts down. The next week, he went to the TV station in Nashville and canceled the TV. I remember last time I said Nick was getting shady?
Yeah.
Okay, they were partners. It was 25-50. He takes a checkbook, closes the account. Next week, he goes to the TV station, gets them to cancel the TV, calls Birmingham, and tries to get the TV shut down in Birmingham, which that was Ron Fuller, Ed Welch's son, who was, Knoxville. That was a whole disaster with that war. So his main thing was, the Alabama southeastern part. Nick goes try to get his new partner, his TV canceled off his main channel in Birmingham. So I don't know what happened, but he went butt crap crazy.
I mean, it sounds like Porter and Byrd a little bit.
And, it didn't, like last month I talked about how he basically no-showed the fair show in Montgomery County, Clarksville, Tennessee. The ring didn't show up, the referee and the ring announcer, and only like 2 or 3 wrestlers showed up. And then they said, when he went to the TV studio, told them to cancel the show, he also told the boys that wasn't part of the Memphis crew that was already coming in, had already started working there, to go find work somewhere else. They were closing, and not to go with Jarrett and Welch. So next month, there was a lawsuit filed, and we'll talk about that next month. But Nick was just going to burn everybody down. Yeah. And what's crazy is they were still doing good business. It's like he wanted out, but nobody else wanted to have it. Like I said, they were still doing good business in Nashville. Chattanooga, from what I heard, was still doing good, but the Harry Thornton, his partner, passed away. I don't think he wanted to do Chattanooga by himself because Harry Thornton was the main guy. He was the television guy down there. He passed away. I think he was done with Chattanooga. He was still running it, but I think he was done with that. And I think he just was burn out because Jerry, Jarrett, and Bill Dundee came and worked Nashville in July. Worked some shows in Nashville. The whole thing was weird. It's like, I don't know. Everybody's dead. It was part of it, so you can't really get the whole story because there's so many different stories. And George won't talk to nobody, and if he did, I mean, he's gonna put his dad over, right, as being the good guy in the situation. So. The good guy, bad guy in this situation, for what little bit is out there that I've found, Nick was the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got one more, and it is, we're going to go to September 25th, 1987. We're going to Detroit, Michigan, the Joe Louis Arena for an NWA World Title match in a cage. Mm-hmm. Ron Garvin beat Ric Flair to become the new NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Wow.
In the stone, baby.
And I don't think anybody in that building, anybody watching TV, thought Ron Garvin was going to beat Ric Flair and become the new champion.
No doubt.
So now when I watched it on Worldwide that weekend, that was on Worldwide TV, NWA Worldwide, when that happened, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
I know.
I mean, I was a teenager. I was barely smart, just a smidge. But I was like, Ron Garvin?
I know.
I mean, because at the time, he was known for being in that whole feud with Cornette and the Midnight Express for like a year or two, whatever,
Right.
You just didn't think of him being, and it wasn't him and Wyndham were the U.S. Tag Champion. I just did not see him as him beating the world champ. It's like that come out of left field,
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
What did y'all think? Because I know y'all were watching, because y'all were Mid-Atlantic guys.
I mean, we were probably happy about it.
Yeah, we were probably happy.
I mean,
I was happy
weird.
too, but
thinking back on it, though, like we've talked about this in previous episodes, like honestly, it was a hole that Magnum's accident left because that would have obviously been Magnum there, in my opinion, would have had the title at that time. Sting wasn't ready. Nikita had too much of a Russian thing to be totally a full babyface, and Dusty was getting too old. I mean, I guess it was like, man, Ronnie's our guy, but
Sting wasn't even there.
right
He was still
at this
part
point,
of the,
yeah, Sting
he was
wasn't
still
even there.
UWF Watts at the buyout.
Exactly.
He's right at the buyout right around that time was the buyout.
Yeah.
So Nikita, it's one of those. They changed him. He got over really good, but not world title.
Right.
Dusty, he was. I mean, 87. I don't know, man. It just.
I mean, maybe Barry could have won it. I don't know. Was he in the Horseman at that time, though? So.
No, he wasn't a Horseman yet.
Okay.
He didn't become a Horseman until what? Spring of '88, I think.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Or summer of that time period.
Yeah.
But yet they pushed Barry a lot.
Yeah.
After the Magnum situation, because they had all those 1 hour and 30-minute draws and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that they didn't pull the trigger on Barry. I don't know if they thought. I mean, I thought he was reliable.
I mean, maybe they knew more than us because it seemed like he never really got a long run anywhere as far as a big. I mean, he did get runs, but you know what I mean? Like, as far as with the strap and stuff, it just never got that true title run. So.
Well, I always heard people say that reason, I don't know if it's true, but they said Barry never got the world strap because Barry was satisfied with having money in his pocket and a girl in his bed and a beer in his hand.
I mean, there's not too much wrong with that. I get it.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Well, I'm saying is, but
he didn't like the idea of having to carry the territory. Probably,
I don't think they didn't like it. They was like serious enough. It's like Dick Murdoch.
Right.
Dick Murdoch should have been world champion, but Dickie liked to drink and Dickie liked to play around.
Yeah.
But when Dickie was on, Dickie couldn't be touched.
Right.
But it's one of those things that they just didn't think, can we, not be a transitional guy, but can we put all of our eggs in that basket?
Yeah.
Which I think they could with Barry because him and Flair's matches were great.
Oh, he had the look, he had the size. I mean, he was a viable. He would have been a viable champion.
He could talk. He could talk. He could get fiery at times.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, his early Florida stuff, he was sketchy on his. But by the time he was 86, 87, he was smooth on his talking. He could fire up when he wants to.
Yeah.
But I just don't know why they never pulled the trigger on it. And even to be a transitional, like Garvin was in between, but I don't know. There had to be something behind the scenes because I always thought Barry was a Dusty guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was from Florida, and I don't know. Maybe when he bolted and went to New York with Rotundo, maybe that kind of left a bad taste in Dusty's mouth. Maybe.
Yeah.
And
maybe.
And maybe he thought, hey, maybe that'd be another thing. They were scared to put it on Barry. Maybe he'll, McMahon offer him that money and he'll go back. It's the only thing. It's weird because, 60s and 70s, all the way up till the 80s, your champion had to be known as a guy that could take care of himself.
Yeah.
You didn't mess around with Harley.
Right.
Funk, even Terry. I mean, Dory would stretch you. He could do it. Briscoe, you didn't even think about crossing Briscoe.
Right.
Right. And then Flair gets it, and he was, they said they used to have to send Harley with Flair to Japan because they were afraid that he'd get double crossed.
Right.
And they knew that Baba was not going to cross Harley.
Right. Yeah.
And so it changed to that mentality of tough guy that if something happened, he could take care of himself and won't tarnish the legacy of the belt. And when Flair got it kind of toned down because he wasn't known, he was, the gimmick was flamboyant, and all that money. So it changed in the 80s of who was going to get it, So that's one thing they say, well, you can't say, well, that's why Barry didn't get it because he, but Flair changed that whole mentality of who would get the belt, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that knock couldn't be on Barry of we didn't trust him to take care of stuff. I'm starting to think maybe Dusty didn't trust him because he thought Vince would give him too much money and he would leave like he did Florida. He bolted to New York in the 85, 84, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's what it was, but I still think they should pull the trigger on Barry.
Yeah, that's a great theory. Let's just say that. I've never thought of that or heard of that, but I think that's a good theory. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's all theories because nobody knows.
Right.
Dusty's gone, Flair's still alive, but he's so whacked out now, you'd never get the story about him.
Right.
What actually was going on around that time. So the only people would know, why Dusty didn't pull the trigger on Barry. Oh, Barry's still alive. I mean, but I don't take. I got to hear more than one person.
Right. Right. Exactly.
That whole saying of my side, your side, and then we'll meet in the middle for the truth.
Right. Right.
We'll take a couple years, and we'll meet in the middle with the truth.
Right.
Because everybody, there's always going to be one side. You're going to put yourself over more then the other guys will put you over more. So you tell the story and we meet in the middle. We try to figure it out in the middle.
Yeah.
So when you have one person, Barry's the only one alive that can really tell us the story of why Dusty didn't pull the trigger. So it's one-sided. So I wouldn't, in wrestling, you can't believe nothing in wrestling. So you really gotta get more than one story and then try to dissect it out,
Yeah.
But if Barry Windham wants to come on here and tell us his side of the story, we'll listen.
Please.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Anytime, Barry. Anytime.
Open invitation.
Yeah. Him and Eric Andrews. Anytime.
Yeah. I think we're getting closer to getting Barry on here than we're getting Eric.
Yeah. I think we're closer to getting Blackjack himself than Eric. But anyway. Come on over, Eric, anytime, brother. So
yeah. Doors open.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I know I probably went over my time. I cut a lot of stuff out that it was kind of didn't really mean. It made it had meaning, but not to keep. Because I could be here all day.
Yeah, well, we get this idea. We keep going into next year, brother. Just save what you didn't use this year, and we'll save it for next year. So
keep it for next year. Like I said, it started out slow, but man, when I got going, it seemed like it snowballed. Because in August, the same way. It was like slow, and all of a sudden, I just started finding stuff. It'd come to my mind like, okay, did this happen this month? And I go look and said, it was that month. It just you start thinking, but because everything runs together all the years. You try to remember. You remember years, but months.
Yeah,
it's hard to remember off the top of your head. So I remember I was like, let me go check this out. And I look, oh, no, it was the month before, the month after. Because I found a lot of stuff from August I could have used. I'm like, oh man, it's it just you remember the year, you just can't remember the date, the month. So you go look it up, and then you start snowballing. And like I said, that first week. That had like 10 things in it, and so
yeah. Well, we enjoyed it. I know I'm speaking for myself here, and I'm sure she.
Oh yeah, absolutely, great stuff.
We always enjoy these look back in the history and learning about specific times of each month, and that's why we're happy to feature this show on our podcast here. So thank you so much, Q. That's awesome, brother.
Well, I appreciate you letting me do this. Like I said, it might be boring to some, but I love doing it. History, keep it out there, keep it alive.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, seriously, if you're not talking about this stuff, if we're not putting it out there, who is? So.
James, he's the only person I know that it's like me, wants to keep it alive and going.
Yeah.
And this has been
This Month in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma.
Thank y'all again for listening. We'll be right back to wrap things up with Quinton and the Sheik on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Are you a pro wrestling fan? Well, stop by Captain's Corner, where you can get autographed photos, cards, magazines, and figures from all of your favorite wrestling superstars of the past, present, and future. You'll also be able to participate in live signings in the weeks and months to come. Make sure to stop by Captain's Corner on Facebook and give us a holler. Remember, cheers to the working man.
Relive the glory days of Memphis wrestling with the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. Each week, we go back in time to review USWA Championship Wrestling from the 1990s, episode by episode. Join us for watch-alongs, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive interviews with people who were there and lived it. Whether you grew up watching it or you're discovering it for the first time, this podcast is your ringside seat to Memphis wrestling history. It's all a part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Listen now at USWApodcast.com.
Oh, Sheik and Quinton, one more excellent episode. That was This Month in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma, episode 3. Of course, he was talking about all the fun and awesome and interesting and stories we'll never get the full answer to of September throughout pro wrestling history. So, Q, man, that was awesome, bro. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
What'd you think, Sheik?
Oh, it was great. Good job, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we need to get some answers to some of these. So please, Barry, come on. You know, Captain's Corner, hook it up, Barry. You work with Barry all the time. Come on, Nick. Yeah, I know you're listening. Guys, don't really have a lot. Of course, next week's episode is our 100th episode, so y'all make sure and tune in for that. We'll hope to entertain you. Thank you all so much for being along with us on this journey of 100 plus episodes. Greatly appreciated. Feels like it just started it just yesterday, and man, I tell you, I feel like we're doing better than ever right now. And guys, we just can't thank you all so much. Of course, if you want to see who's going to be on our show next week, the best way to do that is on @GMBMPW, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X. Thank you guys for liking, sharing, supporting, all that. Most importantly, thank you all for listening. Guys, I don't have anything else before we wrap this up. Do you all?
No, just to have a good week, everybody.
Yeah. What about you, Q?
Go buy a shirt.
There you go.
That's right. Now through September 30th, 100% of the proceeds from any t-shirt you buy on the Gimme Rack My Pro Wrestling site, you buy that. All that goes to our buddies at the Right Way Reunion. So thank you all so much once again. Like I said, next week's our 100th episode. So for the Plastic Sheik, Jared Street, the Territory Wrestling Guru, Quinton Quarisma, and myself, this has been Gimme Back My Pro Wrestling. We'll see y'all next time.
Don't forget.
Congratulate the world's heavyweight champion, Ric Flair. Congratulations, Bob.
Thank you, David. It's the greatest honor that I've ever achieved in any aspect of my life. And gentlemen, as anyone associated with wrestling knows, this is the key. This is the ultimate trophy. It's the most prestigious award.
Absolutely, Rick.
In all of professional wrestling. I feel I worked hard for a number of years to achieve this. I'm not saying it was because of my tremendous skill or my ability or anything else that won it for me. It's one of those nights. And with my night, things went my way, and now I'm the world champion. And on behalf of the people out there, on behalf of myself, on behalf of the people that have stood behind me, Crockett Promotions, etc., I will do my best to be a great world champion. I will do my best to be a great athlete, and I will do my best to show everyone out there that I deserve the recognition of being called the National Wrestling Alliance World's Heavyweight Wrestling Champion. Thank you very much.
Okay, Rick, thank you. David, great champion. He really is.
With a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life.
We'll see you later.
This has been a James Rock Street production.